Hello, hello, everyone. Are we here? I am so frustrated. I do these pre-recorded, pre-scheduled live things to manage, and this is the second week in a row that when I went to go click on go live, it would not let me click on it. What the heck? So I'm gonna wait to see if you guys are here. I saw a ton of people on the chat. Let me write something, you guys. Let me see if it transferred over. Let me see. I'm gonna have to figure this out for next week. Cause okay, I see a bunch of you. Hey guys, were you on? Were you waiting? Um, Something weird happened, and again, the same thing happened last week. Yes, I'm having trouble again. Um, okay, so Camille, can you tell me? Because I know you were waiting. Were you on? Is this the same chat? Like, is this the same feed as what you were waiting on? Because I did these pre-scheduled streams, and when I go to, it's different. Is it a different link? Do you guys know? Did you like have to? You were on the. So it's a new link. Interesting. Huh. It's a different chat and link. Gosh, that's so annoying. All right, I'm gonna have to deal with that because it's like all set up and ready and I'm chatting on it. And then when I go to go live, the go live button is grayed out. Like it won't let me go live. So I have to create a new live real quick. Oh snap. Yes, look at that hair. Maybe I'll have to get my techie boyfriend to figure that out or someone. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Sorry guys. Hello from everywhere, everybody. How are we doing? Oh, hi. Hi. So, is anybody just quick curious question, is anybody going to the TNT Boys concert? Anybody? Hello from Finland. Hi California. Going back to Cali. Anybody? My little girl Angelica is going to be singing with them. We just finished training for those songs that she's doing last night. Anybody? Hmm. Thank you, Sean. Nope, no one. Y'all are missing out. I'm not going either, but that was because they asked me with not enough notice. But they're doing two two shows in different parts of California, and then one in Canada. It's all going to be this coming week, so it should be good. I wonder if one of those three boys are going to step it to Angelica because they're all Filipino and around the same age. So I told her already. I'm like, which one do you think is cute? She was like, I'm not telling. I don't know. Like, I bet Mackie's gonna mack it to you. And she was like, ah. So it's cute. No, I didn't get a haircut. It's just up. It's long. I promise. I never get haircut. Thank you. I get a haircut like once a year. Let's see. So, guys, before we get started, there's a couple housekeeping things I want to tell you about. So, first is we meaning me. I am doing a live webinar tonight at 9 p.m. And that's going to be for the 8-week course. I did it last week. There was something up with the link. I'm having technical issues, I feel like, but there was something up with people not getting the Zoom link in time. So we are manually pushing the emails every day, and everyone should be getting a Zoom link. So there's that. The Zoom link is going to be the same as last week, and for you, actually, it was mostly people from YouTube that were on from last week. But if you guys want to join, there's another Q&A that I'm doing tonight at 9 p.m. and that is going to be lies, all lies. You've trimmed your hair twice a year. Oh my gosh. Okay, maybe twice a year. It's not a lot. But yeah, so it's going to be tonight at 9, and it's going to be about my course, Sing Smarter Not Harder, the 8-week course. And there are a couple people actually last week who took the course and who just loved it so much that they wanted to get on. I didn't ask them to. I was surprised that they were on, but they just got on and started talking about the course and giving their testimonial about it without me asking to, and helping people in the chat answer questions too, which was super sweet. I thought that was great. So yeah, if you want to be a part of that Q&A as well tonight and get a double dose of me at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, wherever you are in the world, set your reminder, click on the Zoom link, which is in the description box of this video. Well, actually, I should notate that it's probably in the description box of the last video. So let me go ahead and fix that. Oh my goodness. Craziness here. So, okay, let me go in and change that. Well, how do I do that quickly? I will put it in after it's over. Okay. I will go in. So there's probably not going to be a link. If you were here in the before the videos before the live started, it'll be in that video. But if you are here now and you only see this link, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to put the links for the 8-week course, for the free workshop, everything that you usually see, including the Zoom link for tonight, in the description box of this video. Okay. So you will have the link, the Zoom link, if you want to join tonight, you're welcome to. It's free. And we're going to be talking specifically about the Sing Smarter, Not Harder 8-week course, why it takes your voice from good to great, if you're a good candidate to be in it, and if so, why you should join. Okay. Let's see. I have soon saved up for the 8-week course. Marius, that's awesome. I'm so proud of you. Yes, I am the coach, Cody. I'm the vocal coach. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Bajia. Yeah, Fabio, you can join. The workshop is something that you can join at any time. That's something that's more automated. It's still me, but it's not live. But the webinar tonight is something that you can join live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's see. Hey, Italy. Hi there, world. Hey, Santo. Why did I decide to start YouTube? Big fan of your channel. Thanks, Camille. Appreciate you. So I started YouTube channel as an accident. I didn't mean to. Really, I mean, we were doing Insta-Reactions, these quick 1-minute kind of deals, and we had time at the end of one of the shoots, and my videographer was like, hey, do you want to do something longer format and do it for YouTube? Why don't we do like a vocal reaction or something? And I'm like, okay. And I did, and it got a ton of views. And I was like, well, that's silly. Maybe we should do some more. And so I did, and more, and I did. And so now I just keep doing them. It was not it was not an intentional thing. It's kind of weird, kind of funny. But I love the platform that it gives me to be able to talk to you guys and to answer questions and bring value, bring value to those who may not have access. Yes, I do coach Lauren a lot. She's a student of mine. I see her tomorrow, actually. Yeah, so I like to bring value, and that's another reason why I developed the course, the 8-week course, Think Smarter Not Harder. Thanks, Isabella. Because I'll answer your question in 1 second. Because not everyone can afford to take private lessons from me, and nor is it feasible sometimes with schedules and time zones and all that stuff. And I'm thinking, thank you, son. I'm thinking, what can I do to multiply myself in a way that's just as good as a live lesson, that's effective, that brings change, that takes people from good to great, just like my private lessons do. And the course was my answer for that. So that's why I'm doing these more webinars for the course, because the questions that you guys ask in these Q&As, they're all answered within my course. And I know that the course costs money versus a live Q&A that doesn't. But the difference between this and the course is that you're getting 8 weeks of cumulative modules that are video just like this. You also have access to me anytime to ask me questions, and you get half off when you're a member of the course of any private lessons with me or one of my coaches. So the deal and the money that you save just by entering into the course is profound, because my rate for private lessons is almost $600 an hour. And when you get half off of that, you're saving a ton of money. Like, the course price itself is $500, but what you're getting for the course versus maybe 1 hour of my time, you're literally paying less exponentially. Like, you're paying 30 something dollars a week for multiple modules of me versus hundreds and hundreds of dollars for 1 hour of my time. And so it's to me the best deal around, because you're getting the same training, you're getting access to me, and you get a discount half if you want private lessons with me, just because you're a member of the course. And I want to give you guys the opportunity to do check-ins live if you're that person who just really, really needs it. Because a lot of people don't. They're like, your course is so comprehensive, the modules are so great that I can totally rock this and I don't need the private lesson, and they don't, and they're improving. So if that's how you are, then you may not even need it, because the course takes you through and doesn't leave you in the lurch for at any moment. It doesn't assume that you get it, right? But if you do get it, then you can move on really nicely too. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. So, and some of you are saying, oh, it should be much higher price. You deserve much more. That's so sweet. Thank you, Merkin Demir. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. And some of you saying I can't afford it. Hey, that's okay. There are people that can't afford it that are saving up for it. That's not going anywhere. In fact, I'm only making more courses. So if you're that person who gets a Starbucks a day, or if you're that person who eats out or whatever, like, decide what your priority is, and over time save up. There's nothing in this life that was easy if it was worth it. So I encourage you, if you are a singer who really wants to get better and not just, take the little crumbs and the little answers here and there that people can give you, including myself, on free things like this, you're going to need to at some point invest in yourself to make that leap from good to great. I know that I can help you do that. I know the course works, and it doesn't have to be right now. Save up. I'm so proud. There's some people, I forget the name of, there's some people that that they are they're like, oh, I'm almost there, I'm almost ready to save up. That's awesome. And there's a couple that have been saving up that just joined recently, a couple days ago, that are now in it because they said, well, I can't afford it now, but if I save, I can. So I encourage you to do that. Isabella, is it possible to learn to hear pitch when I'm 14? When I sing, I don't know what notes I'm singing, and notes others are singing. Can I still learn it now? So hold on. When I sing, I don't know what notes I'm singing, and notes others are singing. Okay. So Isabella, I have a suggestion for you. I want you to download this app right here. It's called, oh, whoops, hold on. Wait a minute. Here it is. No, here. So it's called the Tone Deaf Test. It's this one right there. Okay. Tone Deaf Test. And that is going to help you know on a graded scale where you are with your pitch. And it gives a lot of different mediums in which to recognize and assess pitch. I highly doubt that you are tone deaf. Only 3 to 5% of the world's population is. So yes, it is possible. In fact, my son, who's just turning 3 on Monday, he sings on pitch. Go figure, right? And he knows when he's off, like, he can fix it. So you definitely, absolutely 100% can, for sure. Hey, Jeremy, good to see you. So Jeremy Lawson, guys, he has done a couple Insta-Reactions with us. Jeremy, if you would be so kind as to tell people in the chat how you liked your Insta-Reaction, that would be awesome. I didn't know you'd be here today. What ways to get rid of stage fright? Ways to kill nerves. Okay. So yeah, Jeremy's awesome. If you go to our Instagram channel, IGTV on Terra Simon Studios on Instagram, you can actually hear Jeremy sing, and you can hear me react to Jeremy, as well as my other coach, Jeremy, react to the singer, Jeremy, who opted to do the Insta-Reaction. Insta-Reactions are also a really great way, guys, to get assessed. And Jeremy Lawson took advantage of that a couple times. You can do as many of them as you want. But he was really smart. He got one with me first. I assessed him. I did a reaction. I told him some things that he could work on. And then a couple weeks later, he was like, hey, I've been working on these things. I want you to react to me again. And this time I want one of your coaches to react to me. And I told my coach, hey, these are the things that I told him to work on. Go back and listen to my reaction to him and let him know if he improved on them or not. So it was really cool. And Jeremy, I was really proud. I listened to your Insta with Coach Jeremy, and you did a great job. You definitely did improve. I'm proud of you. So what ways, Jeremy Lawson's asking, what ways to get rid of stage fright and ways to kill nerves? So we've talked about kind of like more about the audience and the why of your performance than the you. I think we touched on this a couple weeks ago. And Jeremy, I encourage you to not think so introspectively about your performance, but more generously about your audience. Because I find personally that when I deal with students and singers who are afraid, it's because they're thinking more about themselves in the moment of the performance than they are about the audience. The audience is there and they're rooting for you always. Like, there's no audience ever, even in vocal competitions, like on X Factor, The Voice, there's no audience ever that wasn't rooting for you as a whole. Now there may be some people, like in the context of The Voice, who may be rooting for your competitor, but as a whole in the audience, they really just want two things. They want to be entertained and they want to feel something. That's it. And they really want you, as the person who's on the stage, to make them do those two things, feel those two things. So I say to singers all the time, get your head out of yourself and get it more into, how am I going to be compassionate and generous towards my audience? How do I serve them? Because if you're busy about serving your audience, all of a sudden all the focus is taken off of, oh, I hope they like me. Oh, I'm so nervous. Oh, I, me, and the narcissism of artistry, and it puts it on the mission of artistry, which is the people that are coming to watch you, or the people that are clicking online to listen to you, where they are in their life, what kind of day they had, and how you can benefit and serve them. So really it's getting yourself out of the way, and it's redirecting your focus and your perspective on what really matters, which is the audience. And I think that you'll find, like all my other singers find, that once you redirect that focus and you take the spotlight off yourself and you put it where it belongs, all of a sudden those nerves wash away, and there's a lot more healthy perspective of where your energy really does need to be focused. I hope that helped. Stephen, I was a member of the chamber chorus in high school, of course. Were you ever part of a chamber chorus or a high school choir? Yeah, all of them. I was in a choir called One Voice in 8th grade. It was my first. Was it my first choir? Yeah, it was my first choir choral experience of a large group, and I was in choir basically on and off throughout my life, between church choir and praise and worship team, and then in college I was part of a choir. In high school, I was part of different groups, different performing groups. I won best in state, but that was for a solo. Um, and part of the Thespians Honor Society. So yeah, part of all of those things. And actually, I was just reading, and I don't know if I shared this with you guys the other day, but I was just reading that the Otolaryngological Society of the US, I believe it is, they did a study on people that were in choirs at a younger age, like middle and high school, maybe even elementary school. And they found, and I don't remember the exact ratio percentages, but they found that by large, students and singers of either gender, male or female, who participated in choral singing at a younger age had a much less likely chance of incurring vocal damage when singing later. In fact, their voices were healthier, their stamina was better than that person who just didn't sing, or just sang for fun around their house, or DIY'd their way through singing growing up. Now, the flip side of that for me as a solo artist and teaching people to sing solos is that there comes a point when you need to break out of blending and you need to find your own voice. But the technical elements that you get from choral singing, the open spaces, the shaping of your vowel, the support, the stance, all those things foundationally are awesome to learn. Now, if you stay there, you're going to sound like one of many versus one of one. And that's where, to me, the rubber kind of meets the road. And that's sort of where I come in as a coach and say, okay, yes, technique is awesome and it's super important. Now, though, we have to use that technique and also find your own sound. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, so X-Force, that ties into just what I was saying. How do I find my voice? Like, I sound different to me than I do to others. So how should I sound? And can I, oh, wait, I was reading and then it moved. And can I sing mid-range or low? I don't know where to stay. Well, you don't stay anywhere, X-Force. You go with whatever context the song is telling you to go in range-wise. But sounding like yourself, that's the age-old question. I always forget to turn this on vibrate. I'm sorry, guys. That's the age-old question. How do I sound like myself? Well, who are you, right? Do you know what you like? Do you know what genre of music? Like if someone asked you, okay, I'm going to make you an album, the only thing you have to tell me is where on the shelf you're going to be. Where would you be? What I mean by that is, and I know it's a little antiquated to think of, but it's a really good analogy. Say you go to a record store, which no one does anymore. Say you go to Walmart and there's like a music section, and you see these rows of CDs, which are going out of style completely. But you see them in genre, right? Like you wouldn't find Faith Hill next to freaking Ginger, or Simon and Garfunkel. You wouldn't find those two together. You'd find the same type of singer or genre, country with country, pop with pop, etc. So where would you be on the shelf? And if you know where you'd be on the shelf, then you can then more granularly say, okay, well, I'm a mix of, if we're just going on the country vein here with Faith Hill, I'm a mix of Faith Hill, Martina McBride, and a splash of Taylor Swift's poppiness. So I'm going to focus on writing slash singing music that joins those three styles together. And that's who I am, right? And that takes some time. You have to learn by osmosis. Let's see. Thanks, Stephen. That was sweet of you. Okay, what else, guys? Asking for hubby, Bowden76. Don't have vibrato, not sure if I want it, but would like the option. Bowden, you absolutely do want vibrato, I promise. It's separate. It's one of the things that separates good singers from great singers. You want to have the option for sure. Vibrato is very difficult to teach and just as difficult to learn. It's not something I can tell you over YouTube Q&As, unfortunately. You definitely need to get into private lessons with me or someone else. I'll put all those links there at the end of the chat for you guys. Just give me a second after I end it to like get all of them and put them on. But yeah, you definitely need to be training. I will say this, what you learn technically in the 8-week course, technique wise, will help you get to vibrato as well. I just don't overtly say it in the course, but vibrato is essentially your voice's thank you gift to you for doing X, Y, and Z perfectly, for having good technique, for having a relaxed larynx, for having good support, open mouth, good space, a good posture, all of that. Then your vibrato, that undulation of pitch comes in. But when there's tension, that undulation can't happen. It's just like if my arm were in a cast, I wouldn't be able to do this with my arm because something's keeping it from moving, right? But if it's free, I can move it as I please, and that's the same deal as what vibrato is. Okay. Let me see what else. You guys are asking some interesting questions today. What else? What else? Who's your favorite Filipino singer? I don't know. Probably Angelica, I would have to say. How is it coaching Angelica? Speaking of Angelica, she's okay. So Angelica is amazing. You know, she's so sweet. She has zero filter though. She says what she says, and I guess that's fine because I do too. But she's a really hard worker, guys. She's, you know, so hard on herself. Bless her heart. I mean, I've never met a little girl other than myself who's never satisfied with the way she sounds, and she sounds so great, right? So she's a joy to coach though. I can never be too picky with her, and I really like that as a coach because sometimes when I'm coaching, I'm like, there are like 10 things I could say to you, but I'm going to say 5 because I don't want to overwhelm you with all of the constructive criticism. And I don't want to give you so much that you can't even master any of the fixes, right? So I have to ration a lot of the times, but with her, I don't. I'm just brutal, brutal, bless her heart. And she takes it all and she fixes it all, which is really quite extraordinary. Juan, hey Tara, I love your videos. Thanks, Juan. Talk a bit about your X Factor experience and what were the changes, if there were any, in how you treat your voice from then. Thank you. Okay, Juan. It's a loaded question talking about X Factor. So X Factor was a very bittersweet experience for me. Stephen, I'm going to get to your question after this one. X Factor was a very bittersweet experience for me. While filming X Factor, it was the very sweet part of the experience. It was a lot of work. It reminded me a lot of my Broadway days when I was doing 8 or 9 shows a week. When I was overseas, we did 9 in Switzerland doing Fame. So I was ready and felt prepared for that type of work because I had been in the throes of, you know, no sleep and having to sing and the mental grind that waiting for a long time in audition lines does to you. And so when we were waiting for hours and hours and hours on end to film certain scenes, people were freaking out. They felt like they were in a holding tank forever. And I just chilled, you know, like my vocal stamina and my mental stamina definitely based on, because of my career history in singing and auditioning and doing all those things professionally, I was sliding and skating through that part of it fine. The lack of sleep, I dealt with fine. My vocal health was impeccable because I made sure of it. I had a vocal steamer. At the second I could go to sleep, I did. The second I could stop speaking, I did. While other people were carrying on and singing in the waiting line or in the rooms or jamming, I was not. I had my headphones on. I was reading and I was drinking a ton of water and doing everything that I possibly could do right. And it showed because by day 3, 4 of boot camp, even some at the end of day 2, people's voices were dropping like flies. And being the vocal coach that I am, and I can't help myself but to help people, I'm going around like giving people vocal exercises and helping people memorize their songs. And, actually Fifth Harmony, those little girls came to me multiple times like, Miss Tara, what are we going to do? We have to learn this song. They gave us 2 hours. We can't help. And they had just been grouped up. Like they came to me just when they became grouped up in the show. And so of course I helped them, but I was very much about the business of vocal health and making sure that I could withstand the test of time in the boot camp round, especially. So it was really sad for me, and really, honestly, it hurt my heart a lot for them to edit me the way that they did and make me seem like this terribly competitive, awful person. I'm super animated. I make lots of facial expressions. I use my hands, and I am talented. So I can see now in retrospect how they were able to flip the switches and really make me seem like something I wasn't. But I mean, we were in the same clothes for days, guys. What you don't know is that, like, for continuity, they would have us wear the same outfit 2-3 days in a row, and they spliced stuff together that wasn't even on the same day to make it seem bad or calloused or competitive or mean or whatever. And I just felt like, there were people on the show that were mean to begin with, like that were rude and mean to begin with. Like, why not just show them for who they are and show me for who I am? Why take such time in the editing room to make them seem super nice and me seem super mean? I never really understood why they did that. And so that was the bitter part of it for me, because I felt so misunderstood as far as who I am as a person when it ended up airing, because what you saw is just simply not what happened, unfortunately. And they did such a good job. And people are like, well, it is what it is. I'm like, no, like it actually isn't. In fact, even on silly reality shows like Chopped. I used to love to watch Chopped until I was on X Factor. And then after I was on X Factor and I saw how they were so good at editing, I would watch reality shows like Chopped and I'm like, oh, they did it there. They did it there. Oh, that's an edit. And I would find all these places, and I just stopped watching them. I couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, I can't believe that all this time before X Factor, I was judging these people thinking, oh, they've got such an attitude. There's that. And then I saw what they did to me. And then when I went back to watch those shows again, I was like seeing the cuts myself. And if you're not looking for it, if it didn't happen to you, there's no way you'd notice it. So rightfully so, you're sitting in your living room watching this, and there's no reason for you to think that someone would change someone's personality or take different takes and put it together in such a way that it's hardly noticeable. So why wouldn't you believe them, right? So it was bittersweet, but I tell you what, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me, even if it was so negative for me, because I got to then protect my students, who we've had students on every single one of those shows. In fact, it was so rewarding for me that Angelica was in front of Simon Cowell all that time, 2 shows worth, and she got the golden buzzer twice, the only singer in the history of the show to ever get it. And I was able to train my students and say, hey, this is what they're capable of. Not saying they're going to do it to you, but just as in a little insurance policy, here's what I want you to do to make sure they can't do it to you. Like, as soon as you're finished speaking, put your head down so that you ruin the visual take. As soon as you take a breath, finish your sentence. Like, don't keep going. Say what you say, make it concise. Don't give them a lot of stuff to go and riff off of and edit. And for all of my artists that have been on those shows, it's been nothing but a great positive experience that's lifted up their careers. And I would go through what I went through all over again in multiplicity if I just to be able to have the knowledge to protect my babies and keep that from happening to them, because I can handle it. It was really hard for me, but I could handle it. But I don't know if someone like Angelica, if that happened to her, or my student Lauren or Clara, if that happened to them, if they could. So that's okay. I have peace in that, and I feel like I have kind of I've kind of given myself a little bit of vindication in that, yeah, that happened to me, but I was able to then lift so many others up. So that's that. Putting together a praise team, Stephen, any advice? With praise and worship music, it's a fine balance between heart and talent, right? I mean, you're not just gonna go subcontract out people that don't believe in the cause, but are super talented. But you also can't have people with amazing hearts and they're tone deaf. So I would pray for wisdom, and I would be very discerning in finding a balance of both. They don't have to be rock star singers, but they need to be talented to a certain degree and have the heart that matches it. Hey Corey, big fan of yours. Thank you. Could you react to super vocal Sound of Silence compared to Pentatonics version, please? Well, Corey, that is a question for YouTube description comments box, not descriptions, comments question. Um, I did react to Sound of Silence. I don't know if I'll be doing it again with someone else because we usually just do one song with one artist and then move on. Um, but I did like the Pentatonics version of it for sure. That was a good version, and it was funny that they came. I think I did react to that. Did I? I think I did. I did. And they came out with it after I reacted to Disturbed's version of it. That was interesting. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna do a couple more questions. Luke Ryan, hey, are there any good careers for singers? I love to sing and don't want to just throw it away in college. Luke, there's tons of good careers for singers, and uh, I think that part of part of the tragedy of growing up and singing is that there's not a lot of practical education when it comes to application of your talent, right? Like, what do I do with this? How am I going to monetize it? Especially, you know, especially if you really just want to be doing that. So there's different levels, right? So I would say that some examples would be teaching music in school or being a vocal instructor, like privately. Like for me, I have coaches. For example, I'll give you examples of my coaches. So my coach Jeremy, he teaches, of course, privately for me as a private vocal coach, but he also teaches music and theory in the school system in Atlanta. My coach Charmaine is a songwriter, and she does outside work from TSS, but then she comes in the afternoons and evenings and coaches for me. My coach Nikki does children's music. She writes original children's music that is educational and teaches them how to memorize different things in school, like that are required, like the states and scientific terms, but she uses catchy songs. And so she does that, and then she coaches for me. And then my coach Heather is more or less full time musician when it comes to just doing music. Like she has her own band and she gigs out, um, and then she coaches for me as well. So during the day, there's not as much if you want to sing because it's really more of an evening, nighttime, weekend thing. So I would recommend that you consider possibly instructing or coaching or teaching in some way. But you can also make enough money if you gig enough nights singing on your own just at night, and then having your days to do what you want to do or to rehearse or do something else. Also, worship leading, if you're religious and in a church, is a great way to do that. Music supervision is not necessarily singing per se, but you're involved in the music industry. You're choosing music for, say, commercials, TV shows, film, all that stuff. That's super fun. So yeah, I mean, as a singer, there's lots of options, but you do need to kind of be creative and decide, like, how do I want to spend my day. Let's see. Julius, Queen Tara, oh, so nice. Do you have any advice for Mariah Carey when you hear her? Do you hear an issue with nodules? Do you believe it's something deeper? Okay, so I have zero advice for Mariah Carey 20 years ago. She was amazing. My advice for Mariah Carey, so I don't know if this is true 100% because I didn't ask her straight to her face, obviously. But I have it on good authority, and I've been told by people that would know, that one of the reasons Mariah Carey can go so high is because at an earlier age, she was told that she has teeny tiny holes in her vocal folds. And I don't know if that's true or not. It's what I've heard. And that if she continued to sing that high, that they would eventually grow bigger and bigger. And I do hear an immense amount of breathiness in her voice now. And I do hear a lot of vocal fatigue, and her range has suffered a lot. So it makes sense if that is the case, that that's what happened. I can't confirm or deny that, though. It's just what I've heard. However, let's just say that that didn't happen and that wasn't a thing. My advice to her now would be, she needs to get scoped. There has to be a medium bass for what's going on in her throat right now and her vocal folds. And based off of that, depending on what is seen or not seen, there definitely needs to be a course of action by way of vocal therapy, because yes, you age, and so your voice is going to decline just like your body declines and everything else, right? You can fight the decline, but it's a slow process that's inevitable for everybody, right? But for her, I just find it profound and kind of drastic in the way that it's happened, and it breaks my heart because honestly, when I was growing up, when I would go to sing, like when I had a performance, my mom would wake me up early in the morning because I was usually up early to sing for like the national anthem for different meetings and things like that. I would take a tub and I would have the boom box, yes, a boom box, playing a Mariah Carey CD and then Whitney Houston. I would listen to that. That's how I'd warm up with their albums, before I even took voice lessons. And I mean, I'm a byproduct of listening to those things. So she's amazing, and it's super sad. So I would definitely say that there isn't something right with her voice right now. Something's wrong, and that if she gets scoped and there's nothing overt about any visual issues, then I definitely think that she needs to be back to the basics of technique, building her stamina back up, building her tone back up, her technique, and then eventually trying to get her range back. H Zano, how do you get into your studio that's advertised? I'm not sure what you mean. How do I get into my studio that's advertised? Well, if you're talking about private lessons, H Zano, I'm gonna put all of those links in the description box once this is over. I had to create this last minute. But you can email info@terrasimonstudios.com to get information on private lessons. You can go to Insta-Reactions.com, INSTA reactions, plural.com, to get your voice assessed that way. And you can do the 8-week course also if you're looking for something that's still kind of do it on your own pace as you go, but that's still me. And all of those links would be there in the description box. Okay. Lou, many foreign vocalists sing English language songs. Why? Lou, I personally think it's because it's just the most mainstream, and for some reason, like think of Adele, right? She was big, in Europe before she was really big here in some regard, and but people want to make it in the U.S. as singers. There's some sort of like panache or like, I don't know, unspoken, like I've really made it if I've made it in the US kind of thing. And so I think that might be why, that they're trying to make themselves more approachable and relevant to, and relatable to people that are English speaking, to kind of bridge that gap. Maybe it's because English speaking people in America are less tolerant of people speaking in different languages too. I mean, we just kind of write it off. Most, I would say the lay person in America is like, well, I don't understand. I don't speak that language. So whatever. But, there's less people maybe that appreciate a different language. And so then they're trying to cater to relating to those people. I don't know. I like foreign language music. Oh, thank you so much, Athara. That's so sweet. She says, I'm the best vocal coach. Oh, that's so nice. Let's see what else. Hi from Africa. Good to see you. Erdia, how can you sell songs? Good question. We've not talked about this. You're welcome, X-Force. How do you sell songs? So the way you sell songs is different now than what it used to be. So I'm not going to get into really the old model of selling songs, but the way that you sell songs now is really multiple diverse ways. So the first way, and there's some that you don't have control, there's some that you won't have access to, right? But if you're just someone who has great songs and you've got a good product, meaning you've got a good song and you've produced it, okay? It's not just like done in your bedroom or whatever, then you can, this I would do right away. I would register that song with as many music libraries as I possibly can digitally. So there's Film and TV Music Library, there's Tune Fruits, there's Shockwave Sound, there's a lot. Just look up like music licensing online, and any place that, and it's free, any place that you can register your song, do it. I've made thousands of dollars off of songs that I've completely forgotten about by registering my songs on these music licensing companies. There were a couple Christian movies that picked up, I think, 2 or 3 of my songs a pop to put in their movies. I was like, sure, thousands of dollars. I literally didn't even remember which songs they were. I was like, can you remind me the song title? Because I don't even think I wrote that. And I did. It was just like 10 years ago. Totally forgot. Passive income. Didn't do anything for it except for recorded it 10 years ago. So that's really fun. That's very rewarding for sure. Another way, of course, is if you have a product and you're gigging out, you can sell your songs that way as well. You can also push your songs to, if you have connections or you hire a song plugger, you can push your songs to other major label artists or artists that are coming up for them to record and put on their album, and then you make royalties and money off of that vein. So those are 3 good options. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 more questions, guys. Lisa, any tips for restarters? I had to stop choir a few years ago. Lisa, man, I so recommend that you take my 8-week course. You especially would benefit so much from it. It goes through everything and it assumes you know nothing, but if you do know what's happening, it's going to be such a great refresher for you and such a good reinforcer of what you learned in choir. I so recommend that you check that course out. I'll put the link in the description box when we're done. Okay, one more. Let's see. Hey, could you answer my question, please? I'm 13 and don't sing, not comfortable with my voice. I write poems and turn them into lyrics. How important are lyrics, and is it possible to sell them? Yeah, sure, absolutely. You can sell lyrics, but I think that you would need, for the music licensing part of it, you would need someone to come and partner with you to create the music and record it. And you need to put the lyrics, either a spoken word, because that is a thing that you could sell. But I think there needs to be music behind it. Now, you can definitely look into selling your lyrics to poetry books and collaboration kind of poetry books like that. I know that's a thing, but I've not really looked into that. I wouldn't be the best person to give you expert opinion on that. So listen, guys, like I said, I'm going to put all of the links below. The Zoom link for 9 p.m. tonight for the live webinar. For those of you who came in late, I'm doing a live webinar tonight on my course, Sing Smarter, Not Harder. I'm answering all your questions about all things Sing Smarter, Not Harder related, why you should take it, how it makes your voice go from good to great, what are the modules like, what material is inside. There's even a bonus round at the end. I talk about all that stuff. So that's at 9 p.m. tonight, Eastern Standard Time. And then I'm going to send you the Zoom link in the description box for that meeting tonight at 9. I'm going to send you the Insta-Reaction link, the 8-week course link, private lesson link. All of those links are going to be in this description box for this particular live Q&A that we did. So just check that out. Give me like 2 minutes and it'll be there when we get off. Okay. So thank you so much for being here today, guys. We will see you next week. Love you, proud of you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.